Hey there, it's Clay with modernlove.life, and in this video we're going to be talking about why your ex goes hot and cold. What's the reason for this and what exactly is going on for them? Now, in the past we've talked about the 5 stages your ex goes through, and many times at that riding the dragon stage, your ex may experience lots of hot and cold behavior. By the way, we have that whole video series right up there if you want to check it out. But at this riding the dragon stage is when the hot and cold behavior is most common. So why does this happen? Now, as you may have heard me talk about in other videos, in a big picture sense, this whole thing about the 5 stages of getting back together, that's a journey of trust that your ex is going through. And as they start to trust you more and more again, they may build an emotional connection with you, and they may start to lean forward towards you because interacting feels good. You're developing these emotional connections using a lot of the, rapport building strategies that we talk about and all that sort of stuff. And they're going to start to, actually lean closer towards you. But what can happen is as they start to get closer and closer and closer, they start to feel a little bit unsafe. Something starts to kick in. They stop leading with their heart and their head starts to kick in and it says, hey, this might be a little bit dangerous. Remember what happened last time. Remember what happened last time you let yourself open up. Remember what happened last time you let yourself trust. Remember what happened last time this happened. And then as that voice in their head starts to kick in, they pull back. And that is where we start to get these positive pullbacks from. Basically, things start to feel too relationship-y, or they start to feel like they're getting in over their head or something like that. So they pull back as this self-protective mechanism. And that's often why they go hot and cold. It's very rarely because they're trying to manipulate you or take advantage of you or string you along or something like that. Of course, that could be going on. I don't know every person out there in the world. I'm sure there's probably like psychopaths out there and sociopaths and like weird people that are manipulators and all that. But most people out there are just decent, good people who get confused, who let themselves get close, start to freak out and pull back. That's probably what, 9 out of 10 people out there are going to do. 99 out of 100 people out there are probably going to do. But what do we do about this? How do we respond when something like this happens? Before we go ahead and get into that, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button for YouTube and subscribe to the channel and leave a nice comment down below letting me know what sorts of videos you'd like to see me make in the future. It does help us out with YouTube, so smash the thumbs up button, gently tap it at a moderate level. I don't know, whatever you want to do, but make sure you hit the thumbs up button. Okay, so what do we actually do in situations like this? Now, if you've watched these videos for the past, several months or so, you may know that we've been talking a lot about this whole same team conversation. And this is one of the reasons why we want to do it. Having a same team conversation is really important because as your ex starts to get close to you and then feels this urge to pull back because something kicks in up here, we want to start to create the context for the two of you to actually start to talk about this. Because if they feel like they have to deal with this all on their own because the two of you aren't on the same team, they're going to keep this all inside and they're going to feel like they have to manage it. They're going to feel like they have to set arbitrary rules about how close, how far the two of you are able to get to one another and all of that. But if you actually create the context where it's like, hey, let's be on the same team, let's talk about this if you're ever feeling overwhelmed or confused or whatever, and they actually do start to feel overwhelmed and confused, and they feel this urge to pull back because that voice kicks in that says, hey, it's not safe, you can say, hey, it seems like you're holding yourself back here. It seems like you're uncomfortable. It seems like something's coming up, whatever. Let's talk about it. And hopefully they'll actually talk about it. If they don't talk about it, then anchor back to that same team conversation and say, hey, do you remember when we talked about being on the same team back in July? Hey, help me out here. What's going on? It seems like this is what's coming up. And you can actually talk about that. But that can help. Just also know that this sort of back and forth kind of behavior is really common during riding the dragon, and it is really them learning how to trust themselves. As they do this, and as you continue to focus on this from a trust standpoint, strong communication, and all of that, know that they will eventually get through this, and they'll end up on the other side at, crisis point or new beginnings or something like that. But they're not doing this intentionally. They're doing this because things likely start to feel too relationship-y. That's when their mind kicks in and says, hey, this seems risky. I might get hurt again, all that sort of stuff. And so they pull back. And if we can just help remind them that, hey, you're not in this alone. We're on the same team. Let's talk this through, all that sort of stuff. Then they can actually start to build the trust that's going to actually propel them through this stage to get to something else on the other side. This is where a lot of that stuff that we talk about inside of effortless connection, like the curious stance and all that, really comes into play. By the way, if you want to learn more about that, we have effortless connection. It's our communication course over at modernlove.life/EC. That's modernlove.life/E as in effortless, C as in connection. Anyway, I hope this helps you out. If you liked what we're doing here on this channel, please make sure you hit the thumbs up button and subscribe and leave a comment down below. Anyway, talk to you next time. Take care.